We are live, man. We're gonna talk about this Jay-Z versus Who video. Let me go get my headphones. Rollo and them supposed to be coming in. Everybody's supposed to jump in. Let me go get my earphones real quick. Jay-Z came out and made a bold statement and said no one can stand on a versus stage with him. I disagree. I disagree right when he said it. Because I think Jay-Z been living in a bubble, man. There is people that can stand on the stage with him. You know what I'm saying? Snoop come to mind. Lil Wayne come to mind. Drake come to mind. Kanye West come to mind. Eminem come to mind. Yes, I said Eminem. I know people will say, "Oh, Eminem comes to mind." 50 come to mind. Nas come to mind. So it's some guys that can stand on the stage with Jay-Z and give him a run for his money, and some of those guys can beat him. By him saying that, by Jay-Z coming out and saying no one can sit on the stage with him, see, he set the bar really, really high. So now, if someone come in and battle him to close to a standstill, he's going to lose. People are going to look at that as you lost because you said no one can stand on the same stage with you. That means anybody that comes out there, you're going to blow them out. Future got a chance to beat him. It's some guys that has a good chance. Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? It's some people that got a chance to beat Jay-Z on that verses, man. Let me wait till my guys come in. And I'm let me see. I gotta put it up. Put the chat up. Okay, there it is. Let me see. Okay. I put it up. Now let me see wait till some people come in and join. Let me see if I can get some other people to join so we can have a healthy debate. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Yeah, man. My thoughts is this. See, I'm 45 years old, so I remember when Jay Z came out around what 95 ish. I mean, but he was, he was on other projects, but I believe his first album dropped in like 94, 95, somewhere up in there, maybe 96, somewhere up in there. Um, because I remember Jay Z used to do that fast rapping, right? And people was calling Jay Z. They wasn't saying he was all that. You know what I'm saying? They were saying he's okay. Some people was making fun of his style. Then he kind of slowed it down, and he kind of took off from there. He was up there in the era with Biggie, Pac, Nas. These guys, Snoop. Dr. Dre, NWA, and Ice Cube, and all these guys was up all in the mix. And Jay Z wasn't thought of as even in the top 3 or 4. I mean, you know, mainly people were mainly gravitated towards Pac and Biggie. Nas too, he was in there, but people was kind of mainly gravitating towards those two, and everybody else came underneath that. Well, Snoop was there. I'm not gonna. Snoop was there. Snoop was on that level. So, um, when the demise of Pac and Biggie happened, Jay Z kind of, me and Zone was talking about it earlier. He said Jay Z he's one of the godfathers that survived that era, right? Because he's like Steady Eddie. Jay Z is like Steady Eddie. Jay Z never really fell off. Now the last 10, 15 years, he hasn't really been doing anything. But up until that time, he was just Steady Eddie. He was always in the mix, right? At least the top 5 or 6 hottest rappers, you know what I'm saying, going down the line. And I know Zone said that he don't think it was a year when Jay-Z had even a year to himself. I'm gonna say he at least had maybe a couple years to himself, because Eminem then started coming out, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, um, who else? Kanye West, Eminem. So he really never had a string to where he was dominant, like five. He ain't dominate for no 5 or 10 year period. I just think a lot of people giving it to Jay Z, and then they start calling Jay Z the greatest rapper ever. To me, he's not the greatest rapper ever. I don't. I just think a lot of people honorarily giving Jay Z the greatest label ever because yes, he came from that era. He's like one of the guys that survived that era and was relevant the longest. You know what I'm saying? Because Nas really didn't put out a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Snoop is kind of Steady Eddie too. Snoop, you know what? Snoop is Steady Eddie, man. Snoop always, has something going on too. But for some reason, people overlook Snoop. I don't know why, because Snoop is dope too. I actually like Snoop catalog better than I like Jay Z's catalog. I do like some songs that Jay Z has that I was like, okay, that's my stuff. I'm not keen on everything, you know what I'm saying? And I forgot about Scarface. Scarface was that dude, man. I grew up in Chicago, and people were in Chicago. We were heavy on Scarface. We like Jay Z, you know what I'm saying? We like Nas, we like Pac, you know what I'm saying? Biggie when he was doing this thing. Scarface was big in Chicago. Scarface was that dude. But I don't know, man. We have a lot of conversations. Is it just that Jay Z is from New York, so he gets a bigger push? That's probably because remember Master P. I forgot about Master P. I always forget about. I don't know why people forget about Master P, but he had a little run too. But in DMX. But Master P said when he went to New York, he used to ask the DJs why they not playing no music from the South. And New York DJs even admitted that they didn't play a lot of music from the South. So, but in Chicago, because we're the Midwest, we would listen to South, we would listen to up North, we would listen to the West Coast, we would listen to all of it, right? And we got our own little, thing going on in the South, as far as rap culture in Midwest, but we really listen to everything. You know what I'm saying? The South music got played on the radios in Chicago. The West Coast music got played on the radios in Chicago. The New York music got played on the radios in Chicago. So we didn't ban any music or not play any music from another region on purpose. You know what I'm saying? We just played it all. We just listened to it all. But yeah, New York DJs admitted that yeah, they didn't play a lot of stuff from the South. Then they started playing stuff from the South. And I remember when Outkast came out and they had the Source Awards. And everybody know when Andre 3000 went on the stage and said, people were booing them when they won, I guess, best new artist or best something like that. And people booed him on the stage. And he said the South got something to say. And from that moment on, it wasn't too long after that to where, boom, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Ludacris, yeah, Outkast was doing their thing, 3 6 Mafia, Scarface was already doing his thing. So it wasn't too long after that to when the South just started bringing out artists, man. And since what 2000 and Jeezy, Ti, since 2000 and what I'm gonna say 3 or 4, 3 or 4, somewhere up in there. The South has had the rap game on lock because I do give New York its time. New York did have its time to when it was dominating. No, some people say some people call it hip hop, but hip hop is the tree. Everything else off of that is the branch, right? Hip hop is the DJs going at it. Battle rap, the battle rappers going at it. The break dancing, the graffiti, the way people talk, dress. Those are the branches, and rap is part of that. And New York did have their time to where they had a kind of a monopoly on it because it started there, right? It started in New York, so they did have a monopoly on it. Then it just started going everywhere else. Um, and then the West Coast came, NWA, gangster rap. Everybody know that, right? The gangster rap came with Easy E, Ice Cube, them doing their thing. Dr. Dre, and the West Coast had it for a little while. And Snoop started coming out. I remember he was on that Deep Cover soundtrack. Tall, skinny dude, like he should have been playing basketball, and he was doing his thing. Snoop was really killing it. And in New York, you know what I'm saying, they just started. I'm not gonna say they started falling off because New York really never fell off. They always had artists, 50 Cent, Nas, Jay-Z, the Locks, you know what I'm saying, Cameron, them, you know what I'm saying, Dipset. So they always had Fabulous. They always had their artists, but they fell off from having a stranglehold that they used to have on it. They no longer had the stranglehold on rap that they used to have. And from the West Coast, you know what I'm saying, when Pac died, you know, things start splitting up and going south for the West Coast because Pac was the anchor, right? He was the anchor of the West Coast. You still had Cube, them doing their thing, but Pac was the anchor. He was the biggest voice, right? And when he passed away, Death Row started falling off. So when they fell off, they come to the South. Like I said, around 2004, 2005, the South started taking over, and they had it ever since. And it's a lot of to me it's a lot of bitterness. Hold on. All right, I'm back. But yeah, man, and then they started coming up with this, Biggie died after no not too long after Pop, and then they start, then Jay Z kind of like took over for New York. New York is a big market, so um, do everything get to me? Does everything get overhyped over? Um, it does it get overhyped in New York? Yeah, because the Knicks been overhyped in New York, and the Knicks haven't done anything since the '70s. The New York Knicks have not won a championship since what, the '70s, and the New York Knicks is always talked about like they been winning titles since the been winning titles in the 2000s or something like that. But yeah, man, because they have a big media market, um, and all the record labels was there, the magazines was coming up out of there, all this, Source was, I believe Source was in New York, and they had all of the top, hip hop magazines. So they big up, and they had the DJs to spin the records. So they had a monopoly, even when the West Coast had took over the game. New York still had mostly all the resources still was in New York. So so Jay Z was able to stay right there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really buried him. Even when Eminem was doing his thing, even when Kanye West was doing his thing, even when Jeezy was doing his thing, and other rappers was doing their things, Jay Z was able to. I'm not saying Jay Z wasn't putting out no music. Yeah, he was putting out music, but I can't say that he was better than those guys. If anything, they all were right there with each other, battling to see, you know, um, who was that guy. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Ti came out. The problem with Ti was every time he was getting a hot streak, he would get in trouble, and it would stall his hot streak. And then he would get another hot streak going. Then he'd get in trouble again. And he'd get another hot streak. So he was never able to reach the traction. But the person that did reach traction out of that era was, Jeezy did reach traction. Lil Wayne he was the one that really reached like a lot of traction. Eminem had his time, had his traction. Kanye West had his traction, but Lil Wayne to me became how Jay Z was, steady Eddie. But to me, I think Lil Wayne started um, taking over Jay Z. You know what I'm saying? He started taking over Jay Z, and people started calling him the GOAT. Like his people, like if you talk to people in the South, they rolling with Lil Wayne. People up north is rolling with Jay Z. Now the South and the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, in the Midwest, we mess with everybody. You know what I'm saying? We mess with the East Coast, New York, we mess with the South. You know what I'm saying? So if you would ask me back in my time, who was getting played more, at first it was New York, because New York is, who started it. Then it was the West Coast. By the time I left Chicago when I was like 16, going on 17, the South, it was the South. You know what I'm saying? The South is all over the place. Like the South is played all over the place. I remember we moved to Milwaukee. All you heard was a lot of the South music in Milwaukee. So what's up, man? Uh, Took over after the Carter. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, you're right. So yeah, so Lil Wayne became the new the next generation's Jay Z, and Lil Wayne had it for a little while until till Drake came. Then Drake kind of took over for Lil Wayne. But when Jay Z made that statement that no one can stand on a versus stage with him, I'm like, dude, are you living in a bubble? You know what I'm saying? And I like Jay Z. Jay Z is tight. You know what I'm saying? Was he the best of that era? When I look at that era, no, because I'll name some people who I liked over Jay Z. I liked the Kanye West over Jay Z. I really wasn't a big Lil Wayne fan, but Lil Wayne, he brought us some great projects, some great music. So he kind of he kind of grew on me after a while because I really wasn't. I knew, when he first came out, he was 15, 16 years old. At that time when Lil Wayne was 15, 16 years old, I was like 20. I was like 23, 24. So no 23, 24-year old is really looking back at a 15-year-old rapping. You know what I'm saying? Even though Lil Wayne, just like Zone said, Lil Wayne was rapping some grown man, some grown man stuff. He wasn't rapping little bubblegum, stuff like Bow Wow. He was rapping some grown rap. He had some grown lines, you know what I'm saying? Some grown lyrics. So mature lyrics, as I may say. But I wasn't looking at him, you know what I'm saying? I was looking at Ludacris. I don't care what status y'all say Ludacris is. I like Ludacris over Jay-Z. I prefer Ludacris over Jay-Z. I prefer Kanye West over Jay-Z. I prefer like I said, Scarface. Of course, I prefer Scarface. Outkast. Jay-Z is in there, but Jay-Z was never at the top of the line for me. He was never on top for me. Some people, I had people, cousins and stuff that they really, I know one of my cousins that really, really like Jay-Z. When I told him the other day that Jay-Z said, can't nobody stand on the versus stage with him, he said, nobody can. I'm like, dude, y'all living in a bubble, man. Cause like I said earlier, Kanye West can stand on the same stage with Jay-Z. See, this is what Jay-Z, if look, and another thing, yeah, people can say that you're the best rapper and all that, you the GOAT. But how do we quantify who's the best rapper? Are we going by number one albums? Are we going by how many times you was on a charts, the top 100 charts, the Billboard charts, sales? How are we going to quantify the best rapper? Because it just seemed like, it's preference, because to say somebody is the best, we don't have the criteria. If we had a universal criteria on who the best was, then we can really truly see who the best is instead of people just saying stuff. Because a lot of times people just doing a lot of talking, and this versus thing, that's the closest thing to getting to see who's the best, who got the best music, who could perform it the best, who got the better stage presence, and all that stuff come into effect. When we get all those three things, and we can see how you pick your songs, how your song stacks up against another song. Just because you think a song is really, really good, which we learned it in this versus thing, that doesn't mean when it goes up against somebody else's best that it's going to beat that other person's best. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West got some hits. Drake got hits. I'm not even really a big Drake fan, but the man got hits. And it's a generational thing too, because Jay-Z haven't been relevant since at least the last 10 years. 15 years, I'm going to say. He hasn't been relevant. Now, because it's a generational thing, you have to worry about his music. I've been listening to Jay-Z music. All his music did not age well. A lot of his beats did not age well. This is a new era with a new sound and new beats. More clubbish type, rock and roll type beats. I mean, that's what these beats are like. More like up tempo. Everything is saucy, and Lil Wayne is not going to have to worry about did most of his 90% of Lil Wayne stuff aged well. Now I know he came out when he was 15, so he do got some early 2000 stuff, but even that, you know what I'm saying, probably aged well than Jay-Z's his earlier work. So Jay-Z got to worry about that when he go into this verses. Did your stuff age well? Because a lot of these guys now, they are rapping over really good beats. They are rhyming over really good beats. And the beats are nice. I gotta give it to them. The beats are nice. And Jay-Z is gonna have to worry about what aged well. Like I was listening to Big Pimpin'. It did not bang the same way it banged when I first listened to it in 97, 98, somewhere up in that 97, 98. It did not hit the same. It sounds like it lost an octave. You know what I'm saying? The song is still good. The beat is still good. But if you put it up against, let me see, if you put it up against Lil Wayne and Rick Ross and that John track, that track is more saucier, is more of this time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Jay-Z got to be careful about going against one of these guys that came out in the last 10 years, like a Wayne, like a 10 or 15 years, like a Wayne, like a Drake, like a Future. I had just started listening to Future like maybe like last year, and I really put on his greatest hits list. And even if I didn't mess with the song all the way, the song still was good. But I haven't heard a bad beat off a Future song yet. And then it's collaborations. A lot of these guys now, unlike when I was in high school listening to rap, in grammar school and to high school listening to rap, a lot of those guys did not do collabs because everybody was trying to go at each other's throats. So I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna let you on my album so you can outdo me on my album, and I'm not gonna let you on my album either. So, but nowadays, what Drake and Future got about, like, I think somebody said Drake and Future got a whole project, so they got a lot of songs. Drake and Lil Wayne got songs. Lil Wayne got songs with everybody. Drake got songs with everybody. Those two of this era, those two got a lot of songs with everybody. Like Drake is on like everybody's stuff. Yeah, I mean, Drake and Lil Wayne can go in there with features alone and beat Jay-Z. They can beat Jay-Z with their features because nowadays, unlike when verses first started, when somebody play a record, they be in another facility, you in another facility, you play your record, they play their record, right? And then we start getting to, oh, let's go on stage and perform live. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a live action with the guy right there next to you, and he performing his songs and you performing your songs. And now people get to see the stage presence, not only the music, how you deliver it, your little back and forth. People are judging all that stuff. So it's a different arena now. It's a different way. It's a different verses. It morphed into something different now. It's went to another level, to the next level, I may say. Which with most things, when things first come out, people think of better ways and different ways and more creative ways on how to deliver it. And the first one I seen was Dipset versus the Locks. And a lot of people picked Dip. I picked the Locks to win because I thought right off the bat the Locks had the better songs. To me, I just remember that they had the better songs. Now Dipset do got some really good songs, but I thought the Locks and then Jadakiss and everybody on the Locks, especially Jadakiss and P Styles, can go. They can go on that mic, man. And Jadakiss by himself took over the whole show and basically single handedly, with his guys there, they did do their part, but he was like the person that was out and he, he like took over Hello? Oh yeah, sorry about that. I got cut off, but I don't know, man. What y'all think, man? Y'all think that anybody can stand on the same stage with Jay-Z? I just think it's several artists that can stand on the same stay on the same stage with Jay-Z. That's what I think. But let me know what y'all think, man. I'm out.